Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Ultimate Golf VIP tournament. We are here with none other than Duff. Duff himself is the VIP, a real role reversal. Duff, how are you feeling about being the VIP for us today?
It is certainly way different experience. Preparing for this meant just getting my screen ready to go instead of having a list of questions, and my palms are sweaty. I'm actually a little bit nervous to do this, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun.
And it's probably not helping your nerves that you have opted to go with all basic gear, all basic balls. You're giving yourself quite the challenge here. So, players, if you guys want to get a chance to beat Duff, he's trying to make it easy on you. It seems like. How do you feel? How do you feel about your odds of making it through this, birdieing and eagling on every hole with all basic gear?
It's gonna be tough. I mean, we all know the basic balls are tough enough. I'm gonna go with the basic clubs as well. Give you guys a chance to grab that screenshot, beating old Duff there in a golf round. This is just about having some fun, though. I wanted to throw the ball around the course, have a little bit of fun with this. So let's see what you got. Let's see who can beat me.
And man, oh man, those winds. It looks like you got a 16-mile-per-hour wind right off the start. You're at London Golf Club is where this one's going to be at. So we haven't done a VIP here yet. So a bit of a change of scenery. And we start off with this nice par 4. Good open fairway. But again, those 16-mile-per-hour winds. So you can see he's aiming into the rough. It won't be landing there. It's easy to forget, those of us who are always used to using premium gear, just how much wind can be a factor in golf, and in Ultimate Golf. So you start off with a nice drive onto the fairway. And while we're playing and conversing, something for the fans, I hope I'm not ruining anyone's sense of wonder in the world, but for those who did not know, his name is not actually Duff. How did you come to the name Duff? Something that's so iconic in our game now.
I was originally Dufferman in some other games that I was playing, and people just kind of shortened it and ended up calling me Duff all the time. And so I just kind of went with it. It's got a golf theme to it. It's kind of fun. And then when the Facebook name, I had to come up with something. You need a first and a last name, so I just went Duffy, and the rest is history, as they say.
And that was a beautiful approach shot there, putting you in place for a nice little birdie. You got a ton of tiebreaker points on that one. Good first start, using all the basic gear, 853 tiebreaker points. So we're going to be moving on to our second hole. 1 stroke under par, 1 hole into this tournament. Now, you mentioned playing other games, and that's fair. We all play other games. How'd you get into being like a media personality for Ultimate Golf? Because obviously, millions of folks have played Ultimate Golf, and hundreds of thousands of folks play Ultimate Golf every day. How did you become so active in the community, have this YouTube channel, eventually become kind of the face of the Ultimate Golf brand? What was that journey like?
So it started off, so I was lucky enough to start Ultimate Golf kind of right at the beginning. I think it was even before the whole worldwide release of it. It was just full of Canadians back then. And we, myself and another player, Big Easy, started our own little group chat where we kind of picked up some players along the way. And both of us have just always been really active. We like talking to people. We like making friends, doing whatever. And so I just started posting on the Facebook group. Oh man, this is going to be a tough shot. Oh man. Let's just see what happens. And from there, we just kind of started this whole friend group, and it kept growing. And as it kept growing and growing, and we were teaching each other to play the game, I thought, you know what? There's not really a YouTube online presence in this game. And so I just, on a whim, started a YouTube channel. And next thing you know, I'm making content, making videos, and then the idea of the CCC came out, which was So the seasons were awesome. When country clubs hit, it was absolutely phenomenal. We got to improve our friend group and all that. And I thought, you know what? It felt like it was missing something at the end of the country club season. But, it'd be fun running a little tournament. And that's really when my YouTube presence took off, was running that CCC tournament. And I'm up to whatever it is, 3,500 subs now. Go follow Ultimate Golf Duff on YouTube if you're not already. And I have a ton of fun with it. It's awesome. I've met so many people, and I love it. It's absolutely fantastic.
And I hate to interrupt, and I've got some more thoughts on that. But first of all, that last that par 4 on hole 2, that was an incredible approach shot you took, competing with the winds, competing with the sand, getting that birdie there. Not as good of luck on the par 3 here. You're on the fringe, so you got a chip in shot. I think birdie is definitely still possible here. But you're not going to get the tiebreaker points for this hole. So that's the impact of those 14-mile-per-hour winds they're talking, especially on a short par 3, and especially where you're competing against the winds, as you were right here. And I think, with your story about the CCC, what I find so interesting about that is, first of all, just being such a community-powered game, I think, is something that's really special. But beyond that, you hit the ultimate. Ooh, just over the hole. So looking at par here, 5 feet from the hole, looking at par. Viewers, this is your first par, so if you can birdie here, you got the early lead on Duff. But I think it's kind of much like how real sports works, where the media kind of dictates a lot of the stream of events. It was on YouTube where things like the CCC started happening. And I think that's really interesting. Not just the power of the players, but the power of the power of the conversation. So you're obviously very comfortable talking on camera. You do this. You do the CCC. You were doing this before we even knew who you were. Before those Hip Games even knew you. So clearly you're very comfortable speaking into a microphone. What was your day job before Ultimate Golf?
So I've been speaking into a mic for a very, very long time. Before this, when I spoke into a mic, I was telling pilots where to go and making sure planes weren't running into each other. I was an IFR air traffic controller, which means I wasn't in the tower. That's generally, they only do the first 2% and the last 2% of your flight. So I was an en route controller, which means I was responsible for the middle 96% portion of your flight. Let me get this shot off. Oh, great, right. I was in this room about the size of a school gym, in front of a radar screen with a headset on, and I was talking anywhere between 5 and 30 planes at a time, just weaving them through the sky, making sure they didn't hit each other.
Certainly could have used a little bit better air control on that one. You end up in the bunker.
Oh, no kidding.
So you're approaching the green from the bunker once again. Not going to get the tiebreaker points on this hole. And remember, with the basic gear, that meter's going to be moving very fast with the sand wedge. But you're lining it up. It's not too far of a chip, so if you hit the ultimate, you should be in decent shape.
It's going to be long, I think, Andrew. I got to pull it back a bit. It's so tough without the spin. But
that's the thing that always strikes me the most is, and we've talked about this on multiple past recordings. I'm a big backspin, topspin player. I think a lot of folks are, and that's the thing that always strikes me with basic gear isn't just the wind, because wind you can kind of adjust for. Wind you know what to expect. Perfect birdie there. Salvage the birdie. But the thing that always strikes me about basic gear is
sweating.
You can't control where it bounces after it lands, and that's something that I think we definitely take for granted here.
Definitely, and the shot view, right? So on these basic clubs, basic gear, you're only looking usually around a 40% shot view. So it's a lot of guessing here, right? If I give this a full blast, I'm gonna go off the end of the runway. See, we're talking about airplanes. End of the fairway here. So I'm gonna try and lay up a bit. It's par 5. Ooh, I gotta go. All right, let's see what happens.
You've got the par 5. You don't have the most favorable winds.
Oh,
But
stay out of the rough. Stay out of the rough.
see where it
Please stay
goes.
out of the rough.
it's holding the line. Perfect. Perfect. So air traffic control, speaking into a microphone, controlling planes, that's obviously a position of authority. Keeping people's lives on the line, that's definitely a cool career. I've heard from some research that in your position of command you had a air traffic control voice that you used with pilots. I personally am very curious about this because I've heard Ultimate Golf Duff voice. I've not heard Duff air traffic controller voice.
There is definitely. All right, here I'll give it. So there's definitely it's no different than the radio guys and me talking, and then before this and after when we're on the air and everything. But yes, I'll give you as I figure out what my adjustments are going to be here. I'll give you an example of the air traffic control voice. And my good friend LFC, who we all know from Ultimate Golf, he's an air traffic controller as well, and I guarantee he has one. But my ATC voice would be something like Air Canada 123, descend, maintain 5,000, subray altimeter 2993, vector to ILS, turn left heading 190, intercept cleared straight in ILS 22. There you go. There's my my ATC voice.
Would love to hear you call a golf tournament with that kind of voice.
It would be funny.
Jump approaching on London hole 5. 16 wins.
Get up there.
I don't know much of the code terminology, so
get up there, ball. Get up there, ball.
Oh, perfect placement. Wow, incredible wind adjustment. That's a green that has a little bit of sloping on it too. So very well placed, very reasonable birdie attempt, and he sinks it. All right. So
only
that's a
one
birdie on that par 5. You're 4 strokes under, 5 holes in. About 2,400, just shy of 2,400 tiebreaker points. Not looking too shabby. If you can scrounge up an eagle somewhere on here, you could still stay 18 under. So definitely a reasonable goal.
It's funny how I had a full plan going into this. I'm not gonna lie. I've got a little bit of stats over here to my right about wind adjustments and maybe what I can do, what I can't. I haven't looked there once. When you're playing live, everything just goes out the window, and it's
for sure.
legitimate. It's like I'm like, oh, what am I doing? I'm second guessing
100%, and a little bit of insider, behind the scenes for those viewing at home. There are some instructions that those of us on the production side try to give the VIPs, just for production value. We like to see the flyover of all the holes. We like to.
Did I skip it again?
I did the same thing. It's when you are playing, muscle memory just takes over, and it's not like playing a tournament at home where you can, take 10 minutes a hole, or because you're putting on a show. You're playing live. You want to perform. You don't want to sit there fiddling with the tracks for too long, and it gets to you. There's definitely a little bit of that performance anxiety. So we're 5 under though. It doesn't look like it's affecting you too much. I can't say I'd be 5 under using all basic gear here at London. We got another par 3, so you can possibly avenge that first hole where you got that par.
I let the flyby go that time. Now this, without backspin, look at this. This is where this is.
That's brutal without backspin.
I have. So my only hope, I think, is to land it on this fringe. So
it does help that the winds are going in the direction of the green.
So let's try and land it on here.
They should be able to get a decent putt out of this.
So what have I got? A wood here. So I'm going to be around. So here, you can see I'm turning my screen here to adjust right into the wind. So I want to go, I think, just over 5 rigs. So there's... Oh, but look at this. I go into the next club. Oh, I am gooned. All right, so let's just do this. And I'll try and underpower it and try and keep it out of the water. Or do I go here? All right, let's try and save birdie. I'm just going to put it off into the crap on the right.
It almost makes you wonder how people golf in real life.
Get going, ball. Get
So you
going,
hit the
ball.
ultimate.
Oh!
You hit the ultimate.
Oh, come on, go. Go.
That was a good approach. You've got the putt. It's doable. It's not the shortest putt. It's not a tap-in. But you've got it. Bit of a slope on that green, though, so you're going to have to aim a little bit to the left of the hole. And money.
Yes.
Made up for that last mistake. So now we're sitting at 6 under.
That's a win, I think. A birdie there and TB. I'm taking that.
That's a tricky. That was not the easiest par 3. You got a nice long par 5 here. Those 60-mile-per-hour winds cutting right across the fairway. Now, something I'm curious about with a little bit of this role reversal. You have your procedure for how you do this. You were saying a little bit before going in how you always have the notes and how you don't have the notes and how it's a little bit different and this, that, the other. I've heard you have some pre-shoot rituals for when we do these VIPs, that you have some hype up music. What are your hype up tunes for shooting Ultimate Golf VIPs?
This is very, very funny, and the person that told you this they got it coming. Well done. Well done.
The person who told me this is the same person who fed you everything you asked me about, so.
Oh, I'm well aware.
We're gonna have to get them in this chair next.
So I have 3 kids. I have two young daughters. My older kids, so they're like older. They're not here all the time. But my youngest is we're like best friends. We hang out all the time, and she's a huge Taylor Swift fan. And so Taylor Swift is played a lot around this house, and I just got into the habit of playing it, kind of like to relax and then kind of get pumped up a little bit, kind of just like zone out, get rid of everything that's gone on before the day, and start a new clean slate for whatever I'm doing, right? And so I am such a creature of habit with everything I do. Like when I walk my kid to school, I play the same song every time on the way home and everything. Hunger Strike, by the way, Temple of the Dog. But my pregame routine for this is throw on a little Taylor Swift, and so it 100% happened before this one too. By the way,
do we have a particular? And that's where I was going next. Did you do the same thing for this one as the guest? Do we have a particular lineup of Taylor tracks that we do, or is it just press shuffle on the Spotify?
No, it was just go in. It was iTunes and whatever Taylor Swift. I can't remember what I played. Essentials, I think, and it played. This is I'm gonna get so much crap from this one for the people watching. But look at this. Being honest.
Every time I'm in a bar, if there's a jukebox, Better Than Revenge is playing. It's a banger. You gotta respect a banger.
Well, what do you think about the lyrics change, Andrew, on Better Than Revenge with Taylor's version?
Let's throw it back at you. Yeah, I think it was. We knew it was coming. We knew that was coming from her. She's an adult now. I think she's 31 now. We kind of expected that, but I don't know. My exposure to Taylor Swift was not from being not from being a dad, but from being the little brother of an older sister. And my sister being a Swiftie when she was 14, 15, I was 11, 12. So I just grew up around it because, when you're the youngest sibling, you don't get to pick what's playing in the car. You don't get the aux cord when you're the younger sibling, when you're player 2. So that was my exposure to it. And then when my sister learned piano, she just learned every Taylor Swift song on piano. But Better Than Revenge is a good track. I definitely like the original, got a soft spot for it. But going back to what you were saying about being the dad to a daughter.
This sucks being in the hot seat, by the way. This sucks because I know there's more questions coming, and the anticipation of what it is sucks. Anyway, go ahead with the question.
That's the thing. I didn't really know what to expect going in.
I know.
You know the position that I'm in.
And I also asked you these questions before.
as my source told me, like any good Canadian, you're a hockey dad. But long putt, sinks the long putt, another birdie. Let's see, what does that bring our tally to? All right, so through the front 9, this is a good intermission to look at your score. Through the front 9, -8, just over 4,800 tiebreaker points. That's not bad at all for using all basic gear. That's going to still be a challenge, I think, for the lion's share of players. So you're putting up some decent numbers. But something interesting, so you're a hockey dad, but what I've been told is that you actually did not play a minute of hockey until you were an adult. And some sources have told me that your wife and kids do claim to be better hockey players than you.
This is fantastic, because she'll watch this after. 100% they are. And so my wife's played hockey her entire life when she was a kid up until now, and still plays at a very high level. And my girls play at very high level. They play rep hockey and that. And absolutely they are. They're fantastic hockey players. They're better than me. The fun part is yes, I didn't start playing till I was, I think in like my mid-30s, which means every time I hit the ice now, I get a little bit better. But then these other people, like my wife, who has been playing since she was a kid and now she's older, every time she hits the ice, she gets a little bit worse because she's past her peak. So at some point, I don't know if they'll ever meet, but I keep getting better and she keeps getting worse. But yes, we are a hockey family. That is our life from, it's already started in the middle of the summer. And I love it. I wouldn't change it for a minute.
I did hear, though, that you were actually a basketball player growing up.
I was. I played a lot of basketball.
And I was told I was not told any specifics, but I were told that you were quite good.
I'll tell you my fun basketball story, and I had a feeling this. Oh, I left it short, Andrew. What am I doing? So I played high school basketball. I was pretty good when I was in grade 9. I was playing on the varsity team, and we had the opportunity. So the Vancouver Grizzlies were just new in town. They just had their expansion. And I had played on like a Team BC. We had like a provincial all-star team. Actually, we had Jay Triano was coaching us. Went down to Denver, Colorado for a big tournament. Got our butts kicked by the Americans. But anyway, the NBA had just come to Vancouver, and so they were running a NBA 2-ball competition, which was where I don't know, this had been in the mid-late 90s. So there's all these spots on the floor, and you had to shoot, and you got these points. Anyway, me and a buddy of mine entered it, and we won it. And part of winning it, so we had to do it like halftime at a Grizzlies game. We won. I've even got it. It's in my office. We won my official NBA 2-ball area championship from Vancouver. And
incredible.
I think it was maybe it was Salt Lake City or something where the All-Star game was, and they were gonna fly us down, and we were gonna compete and represent the Grizzlies. And we read the terms and conditions after we had to fill out all our forms, and you could not have played competitive basketball. Meanwhile, me and the other guy were like part of provincial all-star teams, and so we didn't get the trip. So we were ringers. We were sandbagged.
The Vancouver tried to cheat the rest of the NBA. That's quite a story. Oh. And I find that so funny that you were playing competitive basketball in Canada and talking about the story about coming down and then getting waxed by American teams. Because I had the exact opposite experience. Growing up here in sunny Florida, I played hockey all growing up. And it was the same experience for us as, every now and then we would venture outside of the South. And, once in particular going to Michigan, just getting absolutely destroyed by teams from Ontario, thinking, we could beat all the teams in Atlanta and New Orleans, and we could put up 10 goals against Nashville. Then you go up north, and then you play kids from Wisconsin. Suddenly it's, whole new ball game. But that's really cool that you were provincial all-star, because, I think there's probably more basketball players in Canada than hockey players in the American South, so that is actually quite impressive.
It's it was a lot of fun, and I coached basketball after that for years too, and I still love basketball. It's a great sport. My kids don't play basketball, which is fine by me. They found a love for hockey, but I do miss basketball. It's fun. I love it.
So what position did you excel at?
I was a point guard.
Point guard. Okay. I've wondered. You and I have spoken many times, but always from this view. For all I know, you could be like 6'10".
No,
I assume if you're a point guard, you're probably built like the rest of us.
I'm one of those. I looked a little bit different back then than I do now, but I am all of. So I was 6'1" on the score sheet, which is, of course, those things lie. I tell people I'm 6 feet tall, but I'm 5'11" and a half. If that's my official height.
That's fair. So we're about the same height, you and I. But I'm just shy of 6 feet as well. However, it's like you said, every guy adds an inch or so, right? So what I kind of figured I would start doing is when I was in high school, I thought if all my friends are gonna say they're about an inch taller than they am, I'm gonna say I'm 2 inches shorter than I am. So all the guys that are my height who say they're 6 feet tall look like absolute jokers when I say I'm 5'9".
So you go the other way.
And I gotta say that is the move, is round down, make everyone else around you look like a fraud.
I like it. Yeah, that's it. So we can do it like what's that Jim Carrey movie? Yes, Man. So for the next week, I'm gonna round down. I'm gonna undershoot everything I do and see the changes that it has in my life.
All right, so you're on the par 5, 2 shots in. You got a bit of a long approach here. The wind's not the best. They're pointing right toward that bunker for you. And you're on the line between 2 clubs, so it's really hard to hit that sweet spot.
Oh, I am gooned, but if I could just have a look.
No, I think the placement, obviously, my feed is a second behind yours. It looks like you found the right placement. What's tough is not being able to adjust the spin, because I think if you put just a little bit of side spin to the left on this...
So I'm going to try and land this on that first cut after... So if I land it here, it's going to go off the back of the green. So I'm going to land it on this first cut after the trap there, on the north side of the trap. So I'm looking at about a... What am I looking at here? About a 5-ring adjustment, I think. And then, because I'm right at min, so I'm going to go 5. And then because I'm at min, and I can't adjust to land on that spot, I'm going to have to pull back a ring here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull back about 1 1/4 rings. And then just hope and pray this catches and bounces up.
So you hit the ultimate. Ooh, in the rough. You could still hole out for birdie. That's not a super unreasonable chip.
So that was my landing spot. That first after the trap is where I wanted to land it. I did not anticipate the check
Just
up.
didn't get the bounce.
And so now
that's a steep bank. That's a steep bank coming out of that bunker.
So this ball guide's 40%. So that means if I look at it this way, 40% I can see of that ball guide. So that looks about halfway to the hole. So that'll come in a little hot. So if I come back to about there, it looks pretty lined up. Shouldn't move. I don't know. I think I need to go 1 tick right. My instincts are saying 1 tick right. All right. If I can hit ultimate here. No, great right.
Will it stay on the green? It will stay on the green. So you got the tap in par. Not quite a tap in. You got a par you shouldn't miss. That's respectable. This is a challenging par 5.
Look at those 3 goose eggs in a row, though, Andrew.
Yeah, you got to start hitting green a little bit. Coming out of hole 12, we are now 10 strokes under par. Still at 48 tiebreaker points. That's the same number you had at halftime. Now you got the par 4 with the water hazard right there. Now this one is not one where you want to grip it and rip it because you will end up in the water. So you aim for that first fairway.
So I went, yes.
You
I got to
you
lay
hit
up
the
here.
ultimate.
If you're playing this back and you can use your own balls and your own clubs, fire one over that water. You can drive this green all day, every day. Go do it, people.
So you're looking at a long approach shot.
So I gooned myself again.
Let's try to get some time. That is an unfavorable bounce though. That's gonna carry for you. You do got the wind pushing you back a little bit.
I want to land it there with this club though. So I'm gonna go there. Watch this. I'm gonna underpower it just slightly. Oh no! Did I put it in the water?
You get the great shot. You clear the hazard. You cleared the hazard. You did not get on the green though. But you're on the fairway, and that is an extremely reasonable chip.
Ah. Oh, I forgot. I had backspin with this. I didn't realize that. All right, let's put this in, get out of here, and go to the next hole, hopefully.
And it gets exhausting, you know, the basic gear thing. It was fun gimmick on the first couple holes, but you're really, you know, on the back stretch starting to feel it.
It is. It's exhausting. You're so used. I've taken tens of thousands of shots since I've had these clubs, right? Hundreds of thousands of shots. But it is fun to go back and...
We actually could, if you gave us your statistics, we could actually go in and find exactly how many shots you've taken.
It's a lot.
It absolutely blew my mind when we were doing the... We did some research a couple weeks back for the 3rd anniversary, and just how many shots have been taken into the billions. Shots taken in Ultimate Golf.
Well, it's a fun game. It's definitely a game that you can sit and play. If you want for like 10 minutes, you got a quick break. Or, like, I've spent many nights where you just hook up with your buddies or whatever, and you meant to play for 45 minutes. Next thing you know, it's like 3 or 4 hours later, and you're still playing.
And another thing about it for me is it's, you know, every end result, whether you win or lose, get what you want or don't get what you want, makes you want to play another round. Because it's like, if I had a great round, I'm like, let's keep it going. You know, I'm not going to quit while I'm hot. But then if I lose, I'm like, I know I'm better than this. It's like, I know I could have birdied where I bogeyed, you know, I know I could have beaten that guy head to head. So, definitely gets you going. But, back to you. And back to Duff's origin stories. You were talking about being from British Columbia. Obviously, you are, you know, you're not there anymore. But you grew up on the West Coast, and there was a bit of a change of climate accompanied with your switch. And my sources tell me that by Canadian standards, you are incredibly sensitive to cold weather, which in Ontario, I hear y'all get quite a bit.
Yeah, cold weather sucks.
And I was told, and I had to laugh at this, that you are the biggest wimp if it goes below 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, what's 15 Fahrenheit? Double it and add 30. If it's, if it's below
Negative
minus
10 Celsius, I think.
Minus 10.
Yeah,
minus 10. Forget that. No, so my old house where I used to live, we used to walk my daughter to school every day. And that was our goal. Every day we're going to walk. I had a minus 10 rule. If it's minus 10 or below, I'm driving. Forget this. I'm too old for this. Call me a princess, call me whatever you want. Minus 10 is cold. I hate it, and I don't like it.
Well, what I found so funny about that is, aside from the occasional ski trip, growing up in Florida, I don't think I've ever been in 15 degrees Fahrenheit. So the fact that's, you know...
We hit minus 40 here. Like, no joke, which is the same at both, right? Celsius and Fahrenheit same minus 40, and we hit minus 40, and it's stupid cold, man. Stupid cold.
I just found it so funny because obviously we do have a pretty sizable group in Canada, in the United Kingdom, in some of these places where it gets really cold. But I think probably most of our folks viewing at home are probably in the United States. If they're not in the United States, they may be in Australia. They may be in, places where the weather's more similar to what I'm used to. I think our biggest state, and I could be wrong on this, I think our biggest state is Texas, where it's famously not that cold. So I just thought that minus 15, that's a wimpy temperature. For us down here, that's probably like the equivalent of folks who don't go out when it's 85.
Yeah. It is so cold.
Minus 15. That is something.
All right.
So you're on hole 15. You're approaching the end. You got the par 5. That wind once again pushing towards the bunker. Man, you have not gotten many tailwinds on this run. I don't think you've had a single hole where where I've been like, oh, that wind really helps.
Yeah, thanks, Hip Brett.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the adjustment is here. Let's go 9 rings. Ish. Maybe? 10 rings?
You do got plenty of course to work with on that right side.
Yeah, you know what? You talked me into it. I think I should err on that side of it. Just get close. Give me an easy putt. Oh, way over adjusted.
Well, you hit the ultimate. You're on the green. That's tiebreaker points. That's,
I'll take it.
a 14-foot putt. And after this, you'll have 3 holes remaining. Now, if I'm not mistaken, still no eagles.
Not yet.
Do we have any more par 5s coming up is the question. We do not.
Hey, I can still eagle a par 4.
You could eagle on one of these par 4s. Or
I could just change my balls and clubs.
go into hole 18 and max everything out.
It is weird, though, speaking of how cold it is if it's outside, I feel it totally. But I spend so much time in hockey rinks, and I don't mind it there. And, I run hot, so I'll, have my sweater off, I'll have my shirt off.
I've noticed the exact same thing about ice rinks is, there are some in Florida where unless you are on the ice, it feels like you're in Florida still. If you're sitting in the bleachers, there were some places where in the penalty box you want to take all your gear off because it's just, it's a little too toasty in there. Oh. That is one thing, the science of hockey refrigeration, how they were able to get a NHL rink at Dodger Stadium. That's one thing that'll never quite follow up with me. But I've been meaning to ask, and I've been meaning to ask for a little while.
Here it comes.
That jersey there on your wall behind you, the number 27. I can't. It's a little too far back for me to see it. Which jersey is that? What's the story
Daryl
of that
Sittler
jersey?
from the.
Oh, okay.
From the Leafs, 27. Big Easy like that. That's his favorite number. It was just something. I think I won it, or I can't remember. And then you can see off on the other side of him, where right there. You got a little number 4, Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr.
All right, I'm just going to let this fly and see what happens.
Now, Daryl Sittler, if I'm not mistaken, holds the single game points record, right? He had that one game where he scored, was it 3 goals and 7 assists, or 7 goals and 3 assists?
Yeah, you got 10 points.
10 points in a single game. You hit the ultimate.
Oh, it's so hot. Oh, no.
Oof.
I don't even know what
the bushes there.
Other option I had there. Oh, well. I'm going to have to earn this one.
Bit of a challenging chip for birdie here on hole 16.
I got this. If I played this game enough, I should be able to hit this. What do we think? About there? I think about there, Andrew.
You're the expert here. So we're gonna tee this one up, or not tee it up. We're in the rough.
Oh, no! That was the
4 inches from the hole. That hurts. I felt that one. Felt that one in my chest. That was a 900 tiebreaker point kind of shot. If it weren't for par. So there are no tiebreaker points. We're going into hole 17 now. We got 2 holes left.
This is me putting my hands up to remember let the flyby go. I think I'm batting about 333.
Now the flybys, that was something that I never picked up on when I did mine either. You've got one hell of a tailwind here. We were saying you haven't gotten any tailwinds yet. Here's your tailwind. I'm sure this is the hole where you wanted it.
I don't want a tailwind here.
You got that nasty tailwind coming in on this short par 3. And hole 17, now you are well into the part of the tournament where endurance becomes a factor. Where you gotta have the same patience that you had on the front 9, but you've been staring at your screen for a little while now, been challenged. Can you finish it off? I've been told from some insider sources that you are the kind of guy who starts off hot and has a tendency to crash, especially in social settings. I was told that you have a tendency to be the life of the party, the life of the party in the beginning, especially a multi-day outing. I believe the phrase I was told was a little bit of a nickname for you is first day hero, second day zero.
100%, yes. So we camp in a big group. So I've got a big travel trailer. We actually started off in tents, and then we got a tent trailer, and then a bigger trailer. And now I've got like a big, massive trailer with an outdoor kitchen and a bunkhouse in the back and all that. It's a ton of fun. And we camp a lot as a family, and we camp with a group of other families. And I get very excited when we go camping, and I like it a lot. And I go and I get set up, and it takes me a couple hours to get everything all set up and get our outdoor kitchen set up and everything. And I have a rule where I will not have a beer until everything is fully set up. But then once that train gets going,
that's a tough rule.
There is a lot of inertia, and I tend to go a little bit too hard on night 1. And occasionally it's like birds chirping when I finally go to bed, and then day 2 I'm always a disaster. And this that begat the name. Actually there's a plaque that hangs above the door in my trailer that says
that's what I was told. Yeah, you've got
first
the sign.
Night hero, second. Oh, I skipped a flyby. First night hero, second night zero. Here.
Hey, I mean, if you got to get the most out of your time.
I'll do my own flyby.
The occasional bar or liquor store in the United States that has Labatt, I always got to buy it. Y'all got good beer up in Canada.
We certainly do. I like my beer, and I've actually been turned on to the American bourbons lately as well too. So we can share a little bit. There's nothing wrong with being
a nice cultural exchange between.
I love the relationship between Americans and Canadians. We're like cousins, right? It's you're my little cousins to the south, and we're very similar in a lot of aspects and different in others. But you always know you got a friend if you go somewhere overseas or something, and they're from one of the other countries. Oh,
absolutely.
Well,
you got the clubhouse in the corner there. You got this long approach shot.
I'm gonna give it everything I got. Oh, this is gonna leave me a tester, Andrew. First night hero, second night zero. That's very good. This is true.
And you almost got that sense on the back nine. You missed the green quite a bit on this back nine.
Oh, I certainly did. You know what though?
And you got to wonder for some of our players who are going to get lower scores if they're able to put in a little more of these, birdies. If that's going to help them out, if that's going to be the difference maker.
That's going to be long. I want to give this one a run here. My last 18. Let's go here. Whatever.
Go big, right?
Yeah.
Like Tin Cup, take the shot people will remember.
I'm at about 50% wedge, I think. So this should be around, 7 rings, maybe? Let's just guess.
All right, you got it lined up.
So we're gonna move 7. Let's go 7.2 rings.
7.2 rings. Very scientific approach to this.
Oh
The
no!
ultimate.
My numbers for the basic wedge are horrible, apparently.
12 feet, so you get a putt.
That's all
By
right.
that reaction, I thought you might have hurtled all the way into that sand.
We'll finish with a par here, hopefully.
That's a respectable score. With all basic gear, minus 14 on London Golf Club. You got a look on your face like you're not the most satisfied.
Oh no, I am good with that.
How are we feeling after our first run as the VIP?
It was good. It was different. So I did the Duffy the Vampire Slayer one, which was different because I was just by myself and flying through, and I had the good clubs in that. This one, 100% so nerve-wracking. Like I said, I've hosted so many CCC events and watched people and VIP tournaments and stuff, and watched people play it and help them through it. And like my palms were legitimately sweating playing this. But it was a ton of fun. Minus 14 people. That is more than beatable. You know what? I'm going to challenge everyone out there. Go ahead, beat it with your normal clubs and your normal balls, but then give it a run with the basics, the basic clubs and the basic balls that I did, and then post your scores. Take a screenshot and post your scores. Let's see how you did using the basic clubs and the basic gear as well. But go and get all the rewards first with the good stuff.
Absolutely, Duff. I gotta say, it was an honor to interview the voice of Ultimate Golf. So thank you very much for your time. Thanks for coming out and giving us a show. I'm looking forward to playing this. I'm gonna give it a run both ways, and collect my free golf bag first, though. Unless you got anything to say, that's it for me.
No, that's thank you so much everyone for your support over the last couple of years with the YouTube channel, with the CCC. Thanks to the crew at HIP for doing what they do and guiding me and helping me along the way. And thank you to all the players, and especially my brothers in whiskey business that aren't just people that I play a game with, they're genuinely friends. And shout out to my wife and kids for putting up with me, and dorky dad that does stuff on the internet like he's 14. Anyway, and that's it. Thank you. And thanks, Andrew.
It's enough to bring a tear to a man's eye. All right, everyone, I'm Hip Andrew. That was Duff Duffy. Head into the game, beat 'em up, have fun. Thanks for joining us.